curiosity is key. Curiosity is key because if you're not curious, then why would you have a good conversation? Let's face it. We've all had that circumstance in life where someone comes up to us and they're like, hey, how you doing? What's new? And it feels super awkward and you're not sure why until afterwards because they asked 2 questions and then the conversation kind of stopped and then you both just turned your head the other way and walked away. This kind of happens at networking events sometimes. It's super awkward and for good reason because genuine curiosity needs to be present. And if it's not, you're going to realize it or they're going to realize it and they're not going to want anything to do with a fake conversation. So how can we be curious? Well, the best way is to appear genuinely interested. And the best way to appear genuinely interested is by being genuinely interested. Now, I know you're like, okay, that's not helpful, but this is. And this is something I have been learning because I am not good at this. A part of curiosity is being willing to let assumptions go. Now, if you're like me, I am a chronic overthinker. But not only am I an overthinker, I create scenarios that other people are thinking, doing, feeling, saying, and very few of them are actually happening. I don't know if I love stories in my head, but it could be dangerous, to be honest, because I can assume something very incorrect about a person, let alone their character. And so part of being curious is being willing to let those assumptions go entirely. And I heard this great quote that really hit me square between the eyes. The quote was, "You can't be both curious and offended at the same time." And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, wow, this is so true. I mean, think about it. If you're offended at something, you're closed off. Your mind is made up and you're not really looking to be persuaded or think anything different about the situation. And so another element of curiosity is really learning to embrace the unknown. Because if we're curious and we aren't going to make assumptions, then a conversation could take us in a lot of different directions. And being willing to kind of be flexible, hear somebody out, and maybe go into territory you didn't expect could definitely be a positive thing for both parties. You got to listen to genuinely understand. And I think that often we can assume about ourselves that we're good listeners just because we listen to YouTube videos, we listen to podcasts, we listen. We're listening to things all day long, but are we truly listening to understand versus listening to get to the next question we're going to ask or listening to get something from somebody? There's got to be a certain level of authenticity that's up in your face in these conversations. It has to be clear from the jump. In fact, Gen Z, I would say, yearns for this and is really taking the lead in fighting for authenticity. So shout out to Gen Z if you're watching this video. Any of you, love all of you guys, proud of what you're doing. And here's why. We're sick of all the crap that's thrown in our face on social media, everywhere. We don't know what's true and what's not. And so we are on a desperate search for authenticity. Now, I'm not Gen Z, but I feel similar to them in that respect. And so those are some ways, some tools that I feel like you can use in order to be curious.